Okay, so I moved a little bit more stuff around and got that load in. Pretty big load. So I'm getting a little more organized as we go. So I can see where we're at as far as storage and room. Because I'm getting ready to get rid of that one. In December. So I'll have to decide what I'm gonna, if I'm gonna need another one or not. Hold on a second. Okay. Phew. Now, so moving from California to the south was very interesting. I was pretty much in a position where I really needed to leave California. It was going to be no benefit for the future for my daughter. It was just too expensive. It wasn't safe for kids going to school, much less being in a stroller going down the street walking your kid, because people just run up and grab them. They sell them on the black market. I was getting bad. I left right before the big riots. So, the South was definitely interesting. It was dirt cheap. It was someplace lost back in time. Kind of like visiting the Twilight Zone and staying there. It was just really strange. Stuff's dirt cheap. Life is simple. Nothing to do and nowhere to go, I gotta tell you. And the only other option was being a TV addict, and I just wasn't raised that way. I wasn't really big on TV. I would have a VCR to TV for my kids growing up so that they could watch educational things like Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, and all that educational stuff, because I didn't want them to watch cartoons because they're stupid. It just teaches your kids to poke people's eyes out and slap people and be a snotball. So I didn't want to have my children study something like that. And my dad was really bad. He was very avid about TV. He did not. He's like, you watch TV, you get square eyes, you just become like Jello. It does nothing for you. You just sit there, and you can be doing things so much more constructive, which is true. I mean, it's real true. When I moved to Oklahoma, if I'd have bought 20 Cuddy Sark models, you know, the ones where like you have to hand carve the block of wood and all that stuff, I'd have done them all and probably have sold them. I did get into ceramics for a little bit. That was the old lady thing out there. People did ceramics, and so I did ceramics and sold them in my salon because I love my art. And then I made some for my Aunt Roseanne for her house. I made some huge, big pots for the outdoors, for her plants on her deck that she had built. And they were real nice, actually. She really liked them. So, but, so I made them, sold them, had them in the shop. I would do a lot of Indian type stuff, and mugs and things. It was interesting. The only thing is with ceramic, that everything you bought, you know, little paints that you put on there, they call it glaze or whatever, it looks like chalk. So you paint it on, and then you bring it down there so they can fire it, and then you paint another glossy thing on top, and then you bring it back so they can fire it. it's just a lot of, you can't even tell what color that stuff is until they fire it. You're just guessing. So if it looks kind of neat when you paint it all on there, it will look entirely different when you get it fired. Colors and all. It's really strange. But it's interesting. It was a fun thing to do because I've always got to be doing something. I get really bored. So, and then I bought a guitar at a pawn shop out there, but it was a piece of caca. But it was okay. I could play it. I later sold it back to a pawn shop and made more money than what I paid for it. That was pretty funny because it was a dog. It buzzed. It was a dog. It was like a sunburst guitar. But anyway, so it was pretty. It was a dog. They didn't have any good guitars in Oklahoma. You'd think they would in the South because everything's Southern and they play guitars. But good luck. The people that are playing the guitars, I guess, are the good ones. And so it was just definitely different. But you learn to appreciate life. The countryside. When I went to Oklahoma, I had seen a butterfly, and I freaked out because I hadn't seen one since I was a little kid. I guess because the smog killed it all off in California. I don't know. But oh look, they're decorating for Christmas already. So they were playing Christmas music at Walmart the other day. I was like, So anyway, it was definitely different. I've met a lot of people in the southern states that were better than my own family. Just really great people that I would consider my family anyway. And you learn how to cook a little different way if you can get the hang of it. I never got the hang of the biscuits and gravy thing and all that. They would tell me, you ain't gonna find you Maine if you can't make no biscuits and gravy. And I was like, well then I guess I'll just be manless. I got a kid to raise anyway. So I adore her daddy. I really did. He was a neat, fun guy, but he had major serious flaws that were very dangerous to me because of his drinking and his coking. And he was older than me, so and I didn't realize how much older he was to me till he passed away. Because his son told me, and I'm like, nuh-uh. So he had lied his booty off. But I never was big on asking someone's age. I always loved a good-looking gentleman with gray or white hair. I figured they were better than the ones my age because, or anywhere close to my age, because they were runners. You just can't trust them. If they're 40 and under, you can't trust that sucker as far as you can throw them. You know? They're runners, and I don't want to get germs or get an illness that kills me, you know? I got serious stuff out now, you know? Big bad serious stuff. You know, that AIDS will kill you. So I just shouldn't be without it if I've got to be like that. But yeah, so the South is definitely different. The weather's different. They have a variety of weather. There's really scary stuff. Now, earthquakes didn't really scare me. I was there in the big one, big giant one in Long Beach. And I was just little, and that was kind of scary, but I mean, it only lasts like 30 seconds. It feels like it's, 30 minutes, but it was like a 30-second gig, but it wasn't like houses were falling into giant cracks in the ground or anything weird like that. And I was in a really tall building that's still there actually today, in Long Beach. Pacific Holiday Hotel is where we lived. What a place. Wow. And the ultimate. And they had a 13th floor in that building. They say they don't put 13 floors in anymore because they're bad luck. So That one seemed to be quite new when we lived there. It was very elegant place. And we'd never been downstairs or anything, but it may have been a no children place. My mom would move us into places where children weren't allowed, and so we had to be real quiet, and real adult. We knew how to act, and so that may have been a no children place. But yeah, the weathers are much different. I would withstand an earthquake to a tornado or a hurricane any day. That stuff's severe and can go for hours and days and everything. And I've been in direct hit in 2 tornadoes, and that's probably one of the most scariest things in your whole life, has to be in a direct hit tornado. That is really, really, really scary. I've driven around them, past them, faster than them, because I was in the position to try to get away. It wasn't because I thought it was a game. I had to get away from it, because you never know which way they're going to turn. You never know, what they're going to do next. They always tell you, well, find a ditch, and then you just lay in it. It's like, if you think I'm going to go out and lay in a damn ditch because it's a low spot, you've lost your mind. I am not laying in a damn ditch. But they say it's not supposed to hit. But look, I've seen low spots. I've seen one go right down Oakland Drive in Arkansas, being a low spot. And they said, oh, it'll never hit that low spot. It'll always go up on the top. Oh no, I've seen one go right through. So, yeah, the South is kinder, is cheaper. The only thing is, and the people are wonderful, to a point. You have to be very, very, very careful what you do. You have to be careful stepping on people's toes, because in some of these small town country effects, small town theory situations, it's all rigged. They have their own law. They do what they want. No one will know. No one will tell. You have to be very, very, very careful. Especially like places like Texas. And if you think I'm joking, they don't have a death penalty there because they will do it for you. You know what I mean? They have like the fast lane. Fast lane for the death penalty there. They get the job done. That is a serious gun place. No lie. Pull some crap in Texas, you made a serious mistake. And you'll probably be your last one. They do not play in Texas. Lower Alabama's like that. Some of the podunk areas of Georgia are like that. And you have to go in there with respect and be very, very careful. Walk very softly. And don't open your mouth a lot, because it will get you in trouble. They like you as long as you don't try to take over their place or change things that some people don't want changed. A lot of the power is the money in the South. And if it's not money, it's age and what your family history is. Gives you a ton of power, and who you're related to. You're related to the sheriff, chief of police, the judge. It's the total hookup thing. And you can buy judges and lawyers and DAs all day long in the South. Don't think I'm kidding. I don't know why this guy got to be speeding. This guy was coming up really fast behind me. But yeah, so it's very beautiful. It's very green. You get to see things that you've never seen before. Like I never saw cotton fields in California. I never touched a real piece of cotton, until I moved to the South. There's a lot of things. Now, the food, I really am not a great fan of Southern food at all. 80% 90% of it's fried. I do not like fried food. It is so bad for your heart. It's really bad for your health. I just don't like it. I've always had greasy skin all my life, and eating more grease just makes it worse. But there's just a few southern food things that I would eat. But mostly that would come from people that are black that cook it, because they can really cook. I'm not kidding. A lot of the South is very prejudiced, and it gets to the point where it'll break your heart the way they'll talk to the different races, especially blacks. So that's different. Car registration's cheaper than California by far. Roads are worse. Not all roads are lit in the South. Some aren't lit at all. Some are dirt. And deer can be running across the road. Cows can come into the road. I hit a cow in Oklahoma, and I was trying to get through this herd of them, and this one turned around and rammed my car. And I was just petrified, absolutely scared to death. And it turned out that somebody said it was a bull, is what it was. It wasn't just a cow, it was a bull. But they have an open range law in Oklahoma like they do in Mexico. If you hit a cow in Mexico, you're going to jail because they're sacred. But open range is where their crap can wander wherever. Anywhere in Oklahoma. If their horses want to cross the road, they'll cross the road. If their cows want to cross the road, they cross the road. Nobody's out there watching them. They just do it. That day my car got rammed, there was like 30 of them just kind of like in the road, and I'm like, how am I going to get out? Because it was the only way to get out. It was out in the country on a dirt road. It's about a 15-minute ride off into the country to the babysitter's house there. And I was like, what do I do? Do you honk? Do you just sit there and wait till they finish? What do you do? So I was scared to honk because I thought they would go crazy. Cows are real heavy. Really, really heavy. You wouldn't want to piss one off. I don't know what they do, you know. I didn't know if they would come after you or what. I've touched a cow, but I didn't know anything else. So, yeah, that was pretty bad. I'm just trying to go through like an inch at a time, as they're moving to cross the road. And they flipping. It was bad. It was really bad because there's a million people moving around. I won't put up with that. I gotta get boxes. So they it was terrible because I had to be at work and I was late, sitting there waiting on cows. And before it was just about all over, one turned around and rammed the car. Gosh. But yeah, so it's different. There's kind of different things that happen. They do different things differently in the South. So you kind of have to watch and listen, and don't make fun of them because they think they're real smart what they're doing and everything, because they've been doing it like that for years. And a lot of the people grew up farming and all that kind of stuff. A lot of handcrafting, some beautiful handcrafting from wood stuff. Just, I mean, storybook stuff like you'd see at Disneyland. From wood stuff to sewing and quilting and stuff you just wouldn't even believe people would sit down and take the time to do. But they do. They do some beautiful, beautiful things. So they must have put their box racks inside that trash bin thing. And that bites because I haven't seen them in days. So, and I don't want to go back there because it has signs on it. So anyway, yeah, it's a lot different in the South. The rent's cheaper. They build the houses better, way better than California. California has cracker-box houses, but that's because of the weather mostly. You know, all they have is earthquakes, so you know They don't have tornadoes and hurricanes and heavy storms. But the food is better. The produce is unreal. Potatoes. If you go to the store and buy a bag of potatoes and you cook a baked potato, the potatoes are sweet. They almost taste like sugar. Compared to California, I'm like, man, these potatoes. My Aunt Roseanne was like, what are you talking about? I said, these potatoes are almost like they're sweet. They just taste so good. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess California potatoes taste like dirt. I don't know. They just don't taste good unless you pile a bunch of junk on them. But yeah, the potatoes in the South, they do taste different. It's almost sweet. They're ultra clean. They're almost like they're sweet. If you're lucky enough to know somebody that's from, NOLA, the New Orleans area and that, if they know how to cook, they really can make some outrageously good food, and it's extremely hot. So, do learn how to cook it, because once you've tried it, you become an addict. And if you don't know how to cook it, you just die, go back to NOLA to get some more. But do see if you can get somebody to teach you how to cook the stuff, because it's really tasty food, really and truly, and very healthy. I think food that's hot, like Mexican food and Thai food and NOLA food, I think that the hot peppers really makes you live a long life, because I've known Mexicans that drank and smoked and ate all kinds of hot peppers and have lived forever. I think there's something about the hot pepper thing that keeps them healthy. Well, the bank sure looks pretty. But, yeah, the South is definitely different. And, the cost of living is so much cheaper than California and Arizona and Texas. It's an easier way of life. It's beyond me why people stay in California and become homeless. Because, if you can't beat the system, go. I would hate to be there. With these, $2,500 a month rents in Southern California. Or downtown LA. Who the hell's going to live in downtown LA? What a nasty poo-poo place. $4,000 a month rent. Really? San Francisco rent is just absolutely insane. And I used to go to San Francisco all the time. Had a business out there. And I'm going to tell you, San Francisco was no real great shakes to me, except for drinking. They had a couple nice, drinking clubs, but there was no excitement. They were just nice, elegant lounges. I liked the Golden Mirror Italian restaurant and bar there on Terraville Canyon. That's one of my favorite places to go. The first place I'll go when I go to San Francisco. I don't know if it's still there, but what a nice place. But there was nothing really hopping over there. Maybe on the gay side, they probably had a lot of cool stuff going on, because they have a gay side of San Francisco, and it's kind of like where they put them. But I've gone to gay nightclubs in California and Santa Monica and stuff, and had a freaking blast. They have the best clubs, best dance floors, best lighting, and everybody's so nice. They're super nice. You don't have to worry about dudes like trying to put the make on you and give you the line and all that. You can go there and have a great time and not have to worry about a freak following you around the club or to your car. True story. That's a true story. Why do you two have to have your brights on? My God, you're in the city. So, yeah, the South is better for a lot of things, and then a lot of things it's not. You just have to be careful. Some of the backwoodsy places and stuff like that, you really want to watch your butt. If you see the neighbors are real far away and it's very country, make sure that everyone is your friend. Do not make any enemies because things happen. I'm serious. I got a friend of mine that was burned in the trunk of a car in the woods in her own car. Yeah. Things happen. So my former brother-in-law, warned me because my husband wanted to put my daughter and I in place out on our farm, and my brother-in-law said, Red, he said, I don't think this is a good idea. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And he said, I just don't think it's appropriate for you and that baby to be out here in the woods in the darkness. I just don't think it's a good idea. And I said, well, yeah, because it is kind of dark and kind of desolate, and it's very in the woods. Very much in the woods. And I'm glad we didn't do that. I'm very glad that we never did that. Because I probably wouldn't be alive today. But that would be because of my husband. Not that somebody was going to come after me. The only way they would is if it was my husband or somebody he hired. So I'm very glad we didn't get way out there, that we were more under the light where people were driving by and knew where I lived, and people drove by whenever that I knew. Neighbors watched my house. But they can't babysit you 24 hours a day either. Video's a good thing to have. Real good thing to have. I don't know if those are going to be any good. Okay, we'll go to the next one. I gotta make sure to have enough boxes because I'm thinking I don't have enough. I'm getting close. Getting real close to getting leaved out, but it just feels like it's taking forever. I wanted to be out so bad before Monday. So badly. I was really hoping I'd be done Saturday. All moved out and cleaned up. Get it. And I'm actually like throwing stuff in boxes like the fire sale and just closing them up so I can sort them later. I am doing some like that. I don't have time to sit and sort them out. But I'm close. I'm very close. See, there's some boxes here, but there was a whole bunch over here. I think, no, that's a recycler one. I don't want to take any boxes out of that. Okay, this one is a regular. And this is stacked with stuff, so let me check this one out. And the other one's for the restaurant. So that one's probably... Oh, that's a recycler too. Darn it. They switched one. Oh, they moved the dumpsters. The Tuesday morning The Tuesday morning dumpsters moved because they had 2 tractor trailers that once come through here the other day. So they're switched. Okay, so they've got a recycler box here next to the restaurant now, which used to be over there. And then they've got their trash thing. I don't like to go through the recycler box because it's made for the recycling to help the environment. I like to get the other boxes. I'm gonna be screwed. That one's cardboard only. Well, we could go over to the dollar store and see. They might have some at the dollar store. But let's see, the trash people will probably be coming in the morning. The only reason I say that is because some of these trash cans are real full. I think they dump them 2 or 3 times a week over here. But when they're real full like that, I bet you they come tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you, the sales are excellent in this mall over here. They do an outrageous business. It never used to. That used to be a sucky mall. Used to have a Big Lots and some other junk in here. And it was sucky. There was nothing here worth a crap. Grocery store too expensive. It just was nothing major. I've been over here a couple times years ago. But now it's banging. They've got some pretty neat stores over there. My friend bought a gun couch for me, and he still forgot to get that wood. The trim wood, I had painted it, and the trim wood I have, he forgot it. And he was supposed to come by and get it. It's been several weeks. I'll have to put that in storage. Because he and his girl moved kind of far. I could drive out there, but it's like an hour and a half. He works in Destin, and she works out in Crestview. So they got a place that would be closer to their new house that they got, dude. Let me have a look over here so I get some boxes. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. Talk to you later. Have a great one. Love everybody.